When the spring comes again to Big Mountain, the Hopi again plant their crops, and the Dineh again herd their sheep out into the meadows and the hills as we have done since before the whites came, since long before there were laws written down in books and enforced with weapons of steel. My grandmother told me that Big Mountain is a home of the one who created humans, where the wind breathes life into the air, where the tree of life was planted and is nurtured. The people live on the land, and the land holds the people. It holds our present, our past, and our future as well. It holds our stories, our songs, and the bones of our ancestors. It is where we have buried the umbilical cords of our newborns, an eternal bond to the earth. The people say that to move away from the land would be to disappear and never to be heard from again. But beneath the soil, the land holds other treasures. To the big corporations like the Peabody Coal Company, the U.S. Congress, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the Mormon Church, the military leaders who can once again order the guns against our peoples. The Peabody Coal Company tears the skin from the land of the poor whites in Appalachia to strip for the treasure of coal. If they would do that to their own people, how much more eagerly would they do it to the land of the Indians? They have a law, a new law, to add to the thousands of old laws, and this one may be the worst of all, because it is aimed at the heart of the people. Public Law 93531 says that we are to leave our land, to leave Big Mountain. They say that we must relocate, that we must sell our herds of sheep, the herds of our great-great-grandmothers. They say there is to be no more construction on our lands. They say we must be gone by July 7th of 1986, or we must face the guns of the National Guard. But to move away means to disappear and never be heard from again. In 1890, 300 unarmed Lakota Indians were massacred in South Dakota at a place called Wounded Knee, and the memory lives in the land. In 1973, 300 militant members of the American Indian Movement occupied a part of the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota at a place called Wounded Knee, and the memory is a part of the land. The Cherokee in the Trail of Tears, the Cheyenne in the Long Walk, and the massacres on the Pahasapa and at Pine Bluff, the uprisings of Crazy Horse and of Sitting Bull, the countless thousands murdered with bullets, with smallpox blankets, with broken promises and broken treaties. The memories of all of these are a part of the land and live today again at Big Mountain. They say that among the Palestinians, the people do not say, "How are you?" but rather, "How is the land?" And 3 million Palestinians live for the day of return. In South Africa, 23 million black people live on 13% of the land, and the poorest land at that, because 4 million whites claim the rest for themselves and all the wealth beneath it. In Puerto Rico, the land is defiled by the chemical and pharmaceutical companies and by the U.S. military bases, and as with Native women, 1/3 of the Puerto Rican women have been sterilized. But the land remembers the people and waits for them, and the waiting will not take forever. The people at Big Mountain have not moved away. We have not disappeared. We have chased off the federal work crews trying to finish the fence that would separate the Hopi from Dineh. We are constructing a resistance encampment. We are being joined by AIM warriors and Indian activists from all nations. Every people must decide what it is they will fight for, what is most important for them to survive as a people. The Palestinians and South Africans and Puerto Ricans fight for their land, as do the people of Appalachia, and those in the cities without land fight for what they need to survive, for jobs and housing and food, for justice and for dignity. The Dineh and Hopi fight for Big Mountain, to hold it from Peabody Coal Company and from the National Guard, to hold on to our past and to defend our future. July 6 is the culmination, the last ceremony in a 4-year cycle to prepare for war. Big Mountain is Wounded Knee. It is the forced Sundance. It is the Trail of Tears and the Long Walk. It is Plymouth Rock. It is the native villages of Guatemala and the fishing villages of the Puget Sound. It is a long and mighty river that is always flowing, and as more people learn of this struggle, it will be strengthened, as a river is strengthened by all the many streams that flow into it on its way to the sea. The Dineh and Hopi will not move away, we will not disappear, and we will be supported in our resistance.